What's up my friends, welcome back to the channel. Today on the menu I have 3 gin cocktails, kind of in the same way we used to do the Lazy Pro Clear cocktail series, remember? But today instead of making the same drink in 3 different ways, we're gonna make 3 different drinks, each one with a different level of difficulty. The first one is going to be extremely simple, yet absolutely delicious. And then we're gonna work our way up until we reach full mixology mode with a clarified milk punch, involving a little addition to the technique I don't think I've ever taught before on the channel. So that's going to be super interesting. Now I also have a little suggestion to make this even more enjoyable today, totally up to you of course, but since the first cocktail is going to be so simple to make and I'm sure you have everything to make it at home, why don't you just go grab your shaker and mix it along with me today. That way you're gonna have something to sip on and enjoy while I show you how to make the 2 other drinks. So if that sounds like a plan, you know what to do. Without further ado, let's go make some gin cocktails. Let's go. Today's video is sponsored by Latin Gin, and full disclosure, I had Latin Gin Secco for the first time this week while I was preparing for this episode, and this is actually the reason why the first cocktail we're gonna make today is the Gin Gimlet. Whenever I try a new gin, this is always the first cocktail I make because I think it's the best way to understand what's in your gin and how it tastes like. The gin is the star of the show in this drink, 100%, and also the sweet and sour balance makes it very easy to drink, and it opens up all the beautiful flavors from your gin so you really understand that way what's in your bottle. Also, I feel like the Gin Gimlet is constantly overlooked in this era where we're always trying to find new flavors or to develop more complexity in our cocktails, but it's a fantastic cocktail when made properly, so I think it deserves a spot on the episode today. So as promised, we're gonna make one so we can have something to enjoy while we go through the episode. So we're gonna start with our Latin gin, obviously. If you don't have a bottle, don't worry, we're gonna fix that later. And we're gonna start with 2.5 ounces. You will see the specs of a gimlet are really unique. There's a lot of people who believe that a gimlet is like a daiquiri with gin instead of rum, but it's not true. There's more spirit, less acidity, less sweetness, which makes the gin, the spirit, even more a dominant flavor compared to how rum is in a daiquiri. So for me, again, the reason why this cocktail is so good to test out a new gin. Then we're gonna add 3/4 ounce of freshly squeezed lime juice and 1/2 ounce of simple syrup. A lot of gimlet recipes will call for a lime cordial, which is actually how the drink was created. I even believe that the Rose's lime cordial was created especially for the gin gimlet. I'm not 100% sure about that. What I know for sure is the fact that the Rose's lime cordial was much better back in the day. So if you want to use a lime cordial for your gimlet, you can totally do so, but please make your own. There's a lot of good recipes now. I'm gonna link a couple of them in the description below. But when you think about it, a lime cordial is basically a sour mix lime flavor. So for me, using fresh lime juice and simple syrup is literally like making your own à la minute. So I don't feel the need to make it. Now we're gonna add ice, shake 10 to 15 seconds. And lastly, we're gonna fine strain in a beautiful cocktail coupe. You could add a lime wheel for the garnish. I personally like it clean without it. There you have it. This is how you make the gin gimlet. Cheers. As I said, the dominant flavors are clearly the botanicals of the gin, and it's super easy to sip on because of the sweet and sour components. But it remains a spirit-forward cocktail. And after just one sip, I understand perfectly what the gin tastes like. Juniper up front, balance, citruses and spices, classic dry gin flavor profile, packed with flavor, and it's super tasty. So it really matches what they say at Latin Gin. It's a classic dry gin made in Italy with Italian juniper, some coriander, lemon, and orange peel. It's vacuum distilled also, which is a cold distillation that preserves the delicate aromas of the botanicals. And then it's simply blended with pure waters of Mont Blanc. So it's super crisp, clean, and pure. So I easily see the Secco working perfectly in any classic gin cocktails like the Negroni, the Dry Martini, or the Gin and Tonic because of its classic flavor profile. But it also has that little sophisticated modern twist to it that just makes it a great gin for any cocktails actually, where you want to have that good gin flavor. So it's a great gin for gin lovers. So if you want to give it a try, go to latingin.com. The link's going to be in the description below, and use my promo code TRUFFLE at checkout for a 10% discount. So now let's make the second cocktail of the day. Let's make the Pendennis Club cocktail. Speaking of overlooked classics, the Pendennis is definitely at the top of the list, and with its fruity and slightly bitter flavor profile, the Latin Gin Secco is a great match to balance it perfectly. The ingredient list of the Pendennis reads a little bit like it could have been a riff on the Gimlet, but with fruit liqueur as the sweetener and a couple of dashes of bitters for the balance. So let me show you how to make it. First, in a shaker, 2 ounces of dry gin, 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice. While the classic recipe calls for apricot brandy, a lot of modern interpretation of the Pendennis call for a mix of apricot and peach liqueur. So this is the template we're gonna follow today, and we're gonna start with 1/4 of an ounce of apricot liqueur, same amount of peach liqueur, and also 1/4 ounce of simple syrup. Lastly, we're simply gonna add 3 dashes of Peychaud's bitters. Then we're gonna add ice, shake 10 to 15 seconds, and fine strained in a cocktail coupe. So there you have it, the Pendennis Club. Cheers. It's beautiful how the juniper flavor cuts through the brightness and fruitiness of this cocktail to create a perfect balance. Without it, it could be a little bit too candy-like because of the apricot and peach liqueurs. But now it's just a beautifully balanced, spread-forward, fruity drink with a lot of complexity, and I love it. So if you never had a Pendennis before, I couldn't recommend it more. It is a fantastic cocktail, especially when made with the right gin. So now let's put on our mixologist apron and let's make the sweet hay. So as the Pendennis was kind of an evolution of the Gimlet, I want the third cocktail to be kind of an evolution of the Pendennis. So we're gonna keep a similar template, but we're gonna remove the fruit liqueurs and we're gonna replace them by herbal flavors. So first we're gonna infuse our milk with sweet clover. It is kind of a crossover between vanilla, tonka beans, and bison grass. It is really interesting. We're gonna make a small batch today, just 2 cocktails. So in 85 ml of hot whole milk, we're gonna add 1 gram of sweet clover. We're gonna give it a brief stir and let that infuse for 15 minutes. Then in another vessel, we're gonna add 4 ounces of our gin, 2 ounces of lime juice, 1 ounce of Benedictine, 1 ounce of simple syrup, and 4 dashes of Peychaud's bitters. Next, you're gonna pour your cocktail mixture over the milk. It's gonna curdle pretty much instantly, so you can right away filter it through a coffee filter. The first meals are going to be cloudy, and that's normal. Just wait until it drips clear, switch vessel, repour the cloudy liquid over the unfiltered mixture, and simply wait until it filters all the way through. When the milk punch is ready and I want to serve it, what I like to do is to grate some black limes over a beautiful block of clear ice. If you want to know how to make some black limes, I'm going to link the video in the upper corner. And then I add 2.5 ounces of the milk punch in a mixing glass, stir over ice briefly just to chill and dilute slightly. I place my ice cube in a glass, pour it gently next to the ice cube to make sure not to disturb the black lime powder. And there you have it. This is how you make the sweet hay. Cheers. So this one is a beautiful sour style gin milk punch, and I absolutely love how the herbaceousness and grassiness of both the Benedictine and the infused milk add in complexity. By the way, infusing your milk with spices, herbs, or botanicals is just a great way to make better milk punches. It is super simple, straightforward, a little bit goes a long way, and it makes a beautiful and complex milk punch each time. Now, I'm crazy about the look of this cocktail. It looks super sophisticated, just like the bottle of Latin gin. So my friends, this is it for me today. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a thumbs up if you did. Thank you very much, Latin Gin, for sponsoring this episode. Don't forget to visit their website and grab a bottle if you want with my promo code TRUFFLE for a 10% discount. So my friends, once again, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel before we go, to turn the bell if you want to make sure not to miss the next one. And we're gonna see each other again very soon. Cheers.